you weren't even a photographer when you did that thing.
Yeah.
Like in your head.
I was a photographer, like as a hobby.
As a hobby, you
Yeah.
If anything, you had more of a career established in film, right? And then that kind of shut down, and then you do this thing where you're like, oh, I'll take some photos.
And
almost
again,
like a
reminder
side
during
project.
the writer's strike,
Yeah,
so there
exactly.
was no work.
Yeah.
Side project, like
Still
I'll
isn't.
do this. I like the band, and then now you're top of mind with this label, this manager, because they see your stuff, and they're like, "Hey, you want this massive job now?" I mean, that kind of is like sort of what happens in the film world too, where
It's
someone
so
makes an
similar.
awesome indie, and then they're like, "Cool, do you want to direct Godzilla now?"
Literally.
And you're like, "What? I just did a $300,000 indie."
Yeah.
So they're like with
How do you handle that?
yeah,
You know?
like with you and like you said, there are so many rules that you didn't know about. So like, can you explain like what are some of the basic? Like I know some places you get 3 songs in the pit before you have to leave. Like you can't take photos from the crowd.
So that's for photographers. I learned all of those rules basically. I also want to give a shout out to Ashley Osborne because she is an incredible touring and just like music photographer and videographer who she went on tour with, she shot everyone, but she was a touring photographer with 21 Pilots. And now she's like the in-house photographer for the Kia Forum. And I watched interviews that she did on podcasts like this and like written interviews. I just like studied her before I went on this tour. And I mean, so many people are making touring photographer, like concert photography, TikToks and Reels. It's like the resources are out there. So like shout out TikTok, yuck, but shout out TikTok creators for making so many videos that are like so generous. And I also don't really understand how you have time to do it when you're also doing photography. Because I've like thought about like, oh, maybe I'll like pay it forward and post like a day in the life video, and I'm like, I literally can't even imagine. Like
but it's like you said,
filming.
when you take a break from the social media, then it takes you twice as long to amp it back up.
Totally. So Ashley Osborne, like I studied her, I learned like all of the tips, and then I ended up meeting her at the end of the Meet Me at the Altar tour. So like a month and a half later, I'm like sitting across from her at the Kia Forum because she had reached out to Meet Me at the Altar on Instagram to be like, hey girls, like I do the in-house and I'd love to like come shoot portraits. And I'm receiving this message on Meet Me at the Altar's Instagram account going, and they're like, oh, we know her. She shot us before. And I'm like, yeah, she's coming back. And I'm like sitting next to her, like talking to her, like talking gear. She's giving me tips. Like, it was just so full circle and was such a sign of like, oh, this is actually where I'm like meant to be right now. That shout at her because she also has like been around me in other like scenarios where she's giving me little tips. Like on the Blink-182 tour, she was like, chew gum when you shoot, because it like helps you focus more. And she'll like,
interesting.
Yeah. Like she like offered me a piece of gum and I was like, oh, I'm good. And she's like, no, you should chew gum when you shoot. I was like, oh. And now every single time I shoot, I'm like chewing gum because I'm like, Ashley told me to do this. But I also, but it does help me focus and like stay locked the fuck in.
I could see that because it like gives you like a rhythm almost.
Exactly.
Like, yeah.
Exactly. It's kind of crazy how like little tips like that are so helpful. And so anyway, I studied a lot and I learned a lot of the rules where it's like, when you are a photographer, there are different kinds of photographers who shoot shows. So there's photographers who are hired through like publications. There are photographers who reach out directly to bands and they're just like, I'm a fan. And sometimes like they let you shoot to boost your portfolio. And then there's like the photographers who are there on tour. And then there are also like in-house photographers. But when you're a touring photographer, you have all access. So what I like to do is the other photographers who are there who are local, they'll have the first 3 songs in the pit. The rule is first 3, no flash. So like you're in the pit, you get the first 3 songs, you cannot use flash. And everyone's like scrambling around. I mean, if you've been to a concert and you're like at Barricade or you're above, you've seen what this looks like. So what I like to do is not be in the pit during the first 3 songs as a touring photographer and be like follow on stage, or like be up in the crowd at first and like get like the wide shot of them like coming onto the stage, or get like the shot of them walking onto the stage. But then I have kind of like free reign, and it takes a couple shows to, luckily with a band like Daisy Grenade that I'm like touring with all the time, I know their songs, I know the rhythm of their set, and they switch it up all the time, but like I knew it going into touring with them. I go to their rehearsals with them and I film their rehearsals. And a lot of the times we put those videos on TikTok and they like blow up. But with a band like Meet Me at the Altar that I didn't know, it took like a decent chunk of time for me to like really find a rhythm with them and understand like, okay, where do they go in this moment? Where do they go in that moment?
But the nice thing is you have the next day.
Exactly.
Right? So
if you fuck up, like you have the next day to get it. And so it's not the end of the world. And it was really cool to be shooting the same thing every night, multiple nights in a row, because it forces you to like find different ways of shooting the same thing.
Right.
And which is unique kind of to this job, where when you're on a film set, it's like really scripted out and like really detailed planned. And so that shift in my brain of going from, okay, this is all so meticulously planned out, to kind of letting things go and documenting what's happening was like a massive shift that I had to figure out how to do on the fly, kind of.
And so are there, like, when you said you have these two different cameras, you're doing a gimbal, or you're doing your DSLR or mirrorless, anything like that.
I've upgraded.
Upgraded. No,
but the whole Meet Me at the Altar tour, I was on my Canon 7D and it was not good.
But so like when you're doing this, or are you ever taking a photo and then you're like, okay, tomorrow this needs to be a video?
Absolutely.
Like, are you talking with the band about like what do they want for their Instagram? What do they want for their TikTok? Or
sometimes I am. Sometimes I'll like pitch them an idea and they'll be like, okay, go for it. Like a lot of, like they're in a band. They don't like, some bands that I've worked with, like shout out Hot Milk, Hannah from the lead singer of Hot Milk. She is so locked into the visuals of the band that when I was on tour with them, there was a lot of like approvals that were happening, and like she posted everything on the band's account. Whereas if I'm with, which is awesome because it relieves me, it gives me more time to focus on the actual editing. And then when I'm with a band like Daisy Grenade, it's like I kind of have free reign. I'll be like, how does this look? And they're like, cool. And I just post whatever we're all feeling in that moment.
For Meet Me at the Altar, you had just mentioned like you're on their Instagram. Like, were you posting for them? Like, what is the kind of schedule you guys are working on for that? Like, do you have to post the last show you were at to promote the next one? Like, what is this? Like,
so I tried, and when I was first starting out, to like really get locked into a schedule with everyone, but so much changes on the fly and you just never know what's going to happen that it kind of becomes moot, where it's like,
just do what you can,
pump out as much as you can. It is expected to like post photos from the last show that you did, ideally within 24 hours. I try to get like a couple shots that I know are like my favorite. So like the process would be, okay, if I'm working with a lot of openers. So on the 5 Seconds of Summer tour, we were also in a van, which that's a hard thing to like be chasing an arena bus tour in a van. 'Cause we would have to leave early sometimes to be able to like drive to the next place, 'cause we're not driving overnight. Everyone else is driving overnight. We have to drive and then stay in hotels and sleep and then wake up and continue driving. Wow. It's a lot of like unpacking, which also gets into like the shitty rigs that I have to make to be able to like compactly pack some of my gear. But I would shoot the set, which like it's never more than 30 minutes. Shoot the set, immediately offload back in the green room, cull through photos once everything's offloaded. Like I'll open like Adobe Lightroom, or I'll open Bridge and I'll like cull in Bridge, and then I'll just, anything that I've deemed 5 stars worthy, I'll put in a different folder, and then I'll just open those in Lightroom and I'll just edit those.
Can you give us like how much do you shoot in a half hour? How many do you think you actually say are good?
I've gotten better about not being too trigger happy, but I think that it depends if I'm like shooting a lot of video for a show, but there are some shows where I'm shooting like 1,500 photos to 2,000 photos in a span of 30 minutes.
But then you only edit how many?
I tend to pump out like anywhere between a low show amount for me would be like 20 photos and a high amount would be like 75.
Okay. And then how many of those actually make it somewhere?
It depends on if I had a good night or not, but I would say we probably end up posting like between 5 to 10 photos from any specific show out of the like, let's say, out of the, let's say, like, I think I average around like 40.
Okay.
Yeah.
Will you post that all from like one show before the next show starts?
Ideally, yes, because then it's just like, because you want to be like posting for a reason. You want to be like,
but also like
Denver tonight, come through, like that kind of thing.
You know, it's like if they're not on tour right now. Mm-hmm. So it's like, do you go back and you like save some of these shots that didn't get posted originally, and you're like, hey, remember when we had fun? Like,
yeah, I think that like we like to do that. Also, if they're like announcing something, or if there's like a tour poster graphic that like we need to push. And so if we want to post the poster graphic again, we don't want to just have like a whole feed of poster graphics. And so we'll go and we'll find like a backstage portrait, or we'll go and we'll find like a really good shot of the two of them performing that we can like put as the main photo, and then we'll do like a carousel post.
Do you try to get like, I mean, and I guess this is more for like records for yourself or anything. Do you try to get a photo like BTS portrait at every place they play?
Yeah,
and
try to.
Is that like after sound check kind of thing, or?
It's usually kind of right before they go on stage, or like, here's the other thing. When you're touring as women, you don't want to do your makeup like too early in the day, and you don't want to like get ready too early in the day. So that also limits the amount of time that you can actually take photos. So like whenever they're done getting ready, and usually it'll happen after sound check, like we'll eat and then they'll get ready. And I would say in the like 30 minutes before they go onto the stage, I try to find time to do it. And a lot of the times, like literally 30 seconds before they go on stage, I'll have either a flash, or sometimes I just like using like a handheld light, like just one of those little panel lights or whatever, and that I can just shove into my pocket right afterwards backstage, because it's so dark.
Right.
Everywhere you go in a club.
Is this unique to Daisy Grenade, like that you're like kind of the social media manager? Is this like when you get hired as a photographer, like you essentially take over their feed and you're posting things? Like, to me it seems fucking wild that like a band would hire someone and just be like, take it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it is unique to us specifically because, I mean, me, Danny, Keaton, and Hannah, we are talking every single day. Like, you have pinned conversations in your iMessages. It's like they are up there in the number 2 spot for me. So it's like we are constantly talking about like the visuals and what's happening next, and like, okay, do we want to plan a content day shoot? And I do think it is a little bit unique for touring photographers, because a lot of touring photographers, I think, also like they go on tour with a band and then that band is not going on tour, and they're not, oh my God, I'm so sorry.
I forgive you.
And then they're not working with the band outside of tour as much. A lot of some people do. But I'm lucky enough to be on the creative team, so I'm with them full time, basically. Yeah. So I think it is unique to hand over the keys to me to do it. But I did it for Meet Me at the Altar. I didn't do it for Hot Milk. I like both. It kind of just depends. Right. I'm able to, I know the girl's voice enough where like we can workshop something together. We're all right. And I also was a writer's assistant. So it's like that also comes into play where it's like, I know how to write in other people's voices.
Because that's like what I'm thinking. I'm like, you know how to write.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, anyone can like, any photographer can like post a photo, but a lot of it comes down to like the caption and then getting that tone of like, who follows that band and can you match that world?
Exactly.
And so, okay, let's get a little bit deeper into this unique connection that you have with them, because the way that I found you, which I think most bands don't do, like you are part of like
I'm in the DG cinematic universe.
But it's like you're like
people give me bracelets.
It's like the way that it's like even if it's a session guitarist or just like a touring musician or something like that, you are there with them and you are getting credit. Like people get shout outs on stage, or sometimes people don't even shout out their band on stage, which is wild to me. But like you're getting tagged in like their Instagram photo, like so they're constantly like giving you credit as much as you're promoting them. So it's like this is something that's kind of unique. You're growing with them, you're helping them grow. Like if they didn't have these visuals, they might not be where they are. So it's like can we talk about like how this is an option for other people like looking to get like find a band that you like and
I think
together.
that I get a lot of questions about like and I love getting these questions, for the record. Like, I get so many questions that are like, how did you get on tour with a band? And I mean, just based on like everything I've talked about, obviously you've heard the entire trajectory, but I think that what people don't realize is like, I've never shot for a publication. There's so many different ways you can go about doing it. I've never shot for a publication. I know people who have shot for publications where the artists that they shoot will then reach out and be like, I love your work. Are you available? It's rarer, I think. But if you connect, it's kind of across the board with all creative industries. If you connect with people in a friend, human way, grow with them, find a band that you really like. That's the other thing. I love Daisy Grenade music. Love it. They play me a new song, I cry. Like I love being a part of their world and the process of them like making new songs, and I'm a fan of their music. I think they're incredible and I think they're going to blow up. And so like having someone like that who believes in them, who is on their team, and I mean everyone on their team believes in them. They're special. Look them up. They're special. I'm like, they're special.